The focus today is our legs and back muscles. Shake out the legs, get ready and warmed up. Let's roll the wrists. In this class, I will use some weights, okay? You don't have to use weights. You can just be very intentional about squeezing the muscles. That's fine. Bend and extend the elbows. Settle down with the feet, roll the shoulders. If there's a move you just don't like, completely skip it. You can modify it, or you can completely skip it and do a completely different muscle group. That's fine. I want you to get the most out of your time that you can. So roll the shoulders up, forward, and down. And I think the more often you do these classes, the more you pick up on a move that you can switch out for. So hopefully, even if I'm not showing the move in this class, you can always go to a totally different move that you're used to if you don't like one of these. All right, turning left and right with the neck. Slow and steady, eyes forward, nice wide feet, sink down, and we're almost done with our warm-up here, or with our joint movement warm-up, I should say, and then we'll do our kind of aerobic jogging warm-up. All right, pause one way, take a nice deep breath, expand the lungs and the ribs. Other way, nice deep breath, expand the lungs and the ribs. Exhale and unwind. Feet come closer together, circles with the hips. Hula hoop circles, getting the hips warmed up. Great to have you guys today. Hope you're feeling well, getting good rest, recharging, refueling, recovering with classes like stretching and Qigong and breathing yoga, those kinds of things. Circles the other way. And then marching the knees. Okay, we're working up the hip flexors. And I'm ready to get jogging. Okay, just a couple minutes of this aerobic type of warm-up. We want to get the blood through the body. The blood carries oxygen and nutrients and flushes out all that stale stuff and brings new good stuff in. So we got to get primed for movement. Got to warm up. Warm up, warm up, warm up. As usual, it's good to have a chair in these classes without wheels because we use them for a couple different moves. You don't have to, but I would say you'll have more access to more moves if you use a chair. Same thing with a clear wall surface. Okay, there's certain moves that we do. Floor is nice. I will get on the floor for I believe it's one move today. You don't have to, right? You can always do an alternative. There is one move I will do on the floor. So I've got yoga mats here. You don't need them, but they're nice. All right. And side jacks. Tap the toe out to the side as the arms come up. Sloppy side jacks are fine. Bending the elbows. Just kind of tossing the hands up, right? It's to get the heart rate going. It's not for a range of motion test. All right. I'm feeling pretty good today. I hope you are too. And punching straight forward as we step right, punch right, step left, punch left. Breathing. Okay. And high knee pull down, reaching up, pull down, squeeze the knees up. Well, you don't squeeze the knee, but as the knee rises, squeeze the core. Give it a good exhale as you squeeze. All right. Just about ready to start our first circuit. We will have 3 moves in this first circuit. But like I said, some of them will just have 2. So it'll be like move 1, move 2, move 1, move 2. Here we go. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Move number 1, as usual, I like to start with our planks. That gets our spine primed, set in place, and nice firm core going from the get-go. So here we are, hands on a chair, nice tight core like that. You could have your hands on the floor with a nice tight core like that, or your hands on a wall. okay, or anything else that's sturdy. You want to keep your heels, hips, shoulders, and ears in a nice, fairly straight line throughout this move. Let me get my timer. Got it. 1 minute timer. Here we go. There's our timer. And I'm going to be at the chair. Nice tight core. Fairly straight line from the heels, hips, shoulders, and ears. Tuck the chin back. You want to look down at the chair, down at the floor, or down at the wall. You don't really want to look left and right with these moves. Most of these moves you don't want to look left and right for today. Breathing. All right. Over halfway there, nice tight core. And our next move will be for the legs. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Okay. Getting the glutes going here. I'm going to still hold on to my chair. My feet are flat on the ground, and I'm going to swing my right leg back, squeezing the glutes, left leg back, squeezing the glutes. This also gets a little bit of the back, okay, our target muscles of today. So squeeze the glutes as we swing back. You can hold on to the wall, and you can also do this with your hands and knees on the floor. So do whatever version you like, but we're kicking back. Here's our 1 minute timer. And by the way, this is a good move to use later. Timer's going. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. This is a good move to use later if something feels inaccessible, right? If we're doing squats later and your knees aren't letting you, this is a good one to go back to. You can do more rounds of this same move. Breathing. All right. Good work, good work. Our next move, I'm going to do lunged heavy pants, okay? If you haven't heard of that, that's for your back, but you're also going to get some leg action in it. And I'll show you what that looks like here. All right, so I'm going to grab some weights. You might grab light weights if you're not familiar with this move so that it's safer, right? 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, and that knee is stacked above my ankle, okay? That my front shin is vertical instead of pointed way forward. Hinge forward a little bit there, and it's as if I'm pulling my pants up, right? Pulling my socks up. I should call it lunged heavy socks. Elbows stay in at the ribs, okay? Not out at the sides. I'm hinged forward, staying in place. If you need to come out of it to take a break, that's fine. Your glutes and quadriceps in the front there will also definitely be activated. Now, pay attention to which side you have forward. For me, I'm going to have my right foot forward on this first round, which means on our next round, right, which is about to come up, I'm going to have my left foot forward just to work on some symmetry here, right? Here's a 1 minute timer, and like I said, you can go heavier if it feels safe, but I would start light if it's unfamiliar to you. So 1 foot forward, 1 foot back like you're lunged, hinge forward a little bit, nice tight core, pull the shoulder blades back and down. Back and toward your tailbone, I should say. Fists are up at the ribs. Breathing. Eyes should stay down on the ground. So it's an isometric lunge, essentially, with a row. Good work, good work. If this move does not feel good for you, I'll tell you what, it doesn't feel good for me either. But if it feels painful, right, if it feels dangerous, don't do it. Do something else. That's okay. Skip it, skip it, skip it. That's a lot of effort, I'll tell you that. Fairly straight line from the heels all the way through the ears, the spine. There's our timer. I'm gonna come out of it slowly. There we go. Okay, so I had my right foot forward on that round. I'm gonna have my left foot forward on the next round. That's move 3 out of 3. We're back to planks. You decide if you're at the chair, the wall, the floor. Here's our timer. Timer. Nice tight core. Fairly straight line from the heels, hips, shoulders, and ears. Good work, good work. Breathing. Good exhales will help with the abdominal contraction, by the way. Give it a good exhale and squeeze the core. All right, our move after this is for the glutes. There's our timer. Come on out of that. And glute leg raise, hinge forward, and squeeze the glutes back. Squeeze the glutes back, okay? Alternating left and right. And here's our timer. Our timer's going. You could have your hands on a chair, hands on the wall, hands on the floor, but you want to keep your eyes kind of straight down in front of you. Just so that your spine, your neck, which is part of your spine, is in line. Again, this is a good move to go back to later. If a move like lunges, when we do reverse lunges, is not accessible, this is a good option. Almost there. Followed by heavy pants. I'm gonna start out calling them heavy socks though. Lunged forward, rowing is next. Comes the timer. There we go. All right, heavy pants, heavy socks, whatever you want to call it. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, hinge forward, and then we're rowing straight up and back. Pull the shoulder blades down and back toward your tailbone so you're not shrugging the shoulder blades up toward your ears, okay? Here's our timer. Timer's going. No rush to get there though, okay? 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Nice vertical shin in the front. Hinge forward and row in at the ribs. Nice tight core. Slow and steady up and back, pulling shoulder blades back. Okay, let me just change my angle here for a second. Breathing, eyes should look down on the ground, right in front of your toe. And this is move number 3 out of 3 for this circuit. You can certainly take a break after this, and we'll move on to a new circuit. Breathing. There we go. Stepping forward and standing. Okay. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Get a sip of water if you need it. For me, it's a sip of tea. By the way, right now would be a really good time to go click the thumbs up on this video. Thanks. All right. Our next 2 moves, you want to move your weights out of the way. They didn't go very far, but you want to move them out of the way for this next move because we're moving a lot and it's going to be good for our heart rates, but there are trip hazards that we want to make sure we get out of the way. Okay, so don't step over any thresholds like on and off of a yoga mat. Stay on something or off of something. Don't get anything that you can catch your toe on. This is tipping and kicking, which we do often in this class, but I'm going to stay low for it. Okay, I did this this week, and it was a lot. I think it was yesterday. Anyway, so normally tip and kick looks like this. Tip left, kick right. Fantastic. You can do it that way if you like, just tipping and kicking. Holding onto a wall is pretty critical for me so that I'm not worried about balance the whole time. I like to add a squat, so I tip and kick, land with a squat. Tip and kick, land with a squat. That's how I like to do this move. If you want to try it the new way that I've been doing it, starting yesterday, stay low the whole time. So it looks like this. Tip and kick, stay low. So now I'm kind of squatted. Notice my squatted down tip and kick, okay? Give that a shot. If you like it, great. If it's just too low, don't worry about it. Modify however you like. Here's our timer. 1 minute counting down. I'm gonna hold on to my wall, tip and kick, and I'm staying low. Breathing. And maybe it's okay for 15 seconds and then you gotta come up. I don't know. That'd be fine. Very modifiable, very adjustable. You can kick low. You could even keep the toes tapping on the ground. All right, after this is a back move. I'm gonna do dumbbell rows using the chair. Almost there. Holding onto your wall, hopefully. There's our timer. Okay, so you don't have to use the chair, but let me demonstrate with the chair as a first step. Okay, you only need one weight if you use any at all. Nice wide feet. Unlock the knees. Hand in the center of the chair for stability. And then we row the elbow all the way up, all the way down if you can. We're not turning the spine, so notice I don't turn my sternum toward you. I don't rotate. It's just shoulder blade back and elbow up and down. Everything else is a statue, okay? If you would prefer, you could do this on the ground. Hand on the floor, knees on the floor. This is very safe, right? This is much more safe, and you're not gonna fall if you're already on the floor, so that's a good thing. But the floor does get in my way a little bit, so I'm not able to get a full range of motion. So there's pros and cons to both. I feel stable enough putting my hand on a chair, so that's the version I'm gonna do. Okay, you choose what's right for you. Here's our 1 minute timer. Take your time with it. Unlock the knees. Now this is a muscle group that tends to be pretty strong, so you might need more weight for this particular lift. I say need more weight like you would actually need it. You can just use no weight and squeeze the muscles in. It can definitely be enough. But if you've got grocery bags or a purse or a backpack and you want to stack it full of stuff, that's a good way to add weight without buying something. Water bottle, jug, gallon of milk, I don't know. Elbow back, in at the ribs. Good work, everybody. This is just one side for now. Try to stack your shoulder above your wrist. You're, vertically stacked there. Slow and steady. Control it up, control it down. Good work, good work. There's our timer. Over to side number 2. Take a longer break if you need it. There goes my phone and my timer. Who needs it, right? All right, and round 2. I shouldn't call it that because we have actual rounds in here. Hand in the center of the chair. Unlock the knees a little bit. Everything stays a statue except for the weight that rises and falls. Nice flat back. Nice tight core. Make sure we're breathing. I like to exhale on the concentric contraction, which is where I bring the weight up. Ease it down, eccentric. Contract it up, concentric. Good work, good work. You may adjust wherever you're standing if you need to. Eyes down on the chair or on the floor. Almost done here, and then we're back to move number 1 for this circuit. There's only a couple, right? It's tipping and kicking. Okay. So with tipping and kicking, I know this is annoying, gotta move everything out of the way because it's a higher trip risk move. Make sure everything's out of the way so we're not tripping over it as we tip and kick. All right, I'll get started right away here. Take your time getting there. Tip and kick looks like this. You can kick lower. You can add a squat as you land. Or you can stay low the whole time, which is new for me. And I'll tell you what, I've been liking it. Make sure your legs work the whole time. Oh boy. Shoulders back, chest up. Nice tight core. I'm going to turn around so I can hold on to a wall. 25 seconds left. Go slower if you need to. Hold on to a wall if you would. This is round 2 of this second circuit. We've got rows on left and right. After this, I'll get to the floor to demonstrate for our second round. There's our timer. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Whew, this is quite the heart rate class for me. Okay, if you choose to, you can do the chair again, right? Rowing, and then when we switch, go to the other side. Unlock the knees if you're at the chair. But you can also do this on the floor, okay? So, hands and knees down, rowing. Everything stays a statue except for the arm that goes up and down. Here's our timer counting down. Great work today, everybody. Working up a sweat, working up my heart rate. Eyes stay down. Slow and steady. You can have your fist on the ground, your palm on the ground, and sometimes I even hold on to another weight as my handle on the ground, for example, like this. So I've got my left hand on the ground on a weight, and I'm pulling my right hand up. That works as well. Although these weights are hexagon shaped, so they're staying in place pretty well. If you had rounder weights, that they may roll a little bit and not be good for this. All right. Side number 2. Take your time getting there. Body stays statue-like, except for the arm that comes up and down. The shoulder blade pulls back. Legs and back today. If you need to skip a move because the back's just getting too tired, skip a move. Do biceps, do triceps, do shoulders, do a rest. Same thing with the legs. If the legs are getting too tired, this is part of the reason we're alternating between upper body and lower body though, so that we can give one a rest for a minute or two and switch. Almost done with this circuit, and then I'm going to get a drink of water. Okay, there we go. I'm going to get these out of the way. Timer's done. Take your time getting up. Awesome job, everybody. Make sure you don't have any tripping hazards, right? Those are actually a little too close for comfort. I should move them. Because I walk over here a lot. All right, next up, legs. I'm gonna do a wide squat touchdown using a weight. You don't have to use a weight for this. I'll show you an alternative. If you wanna use a weight, I stand it up on end like that. I've got nice wide base of support for my legs, and I'm using the weight as an extension of my arms so that I don't have to squat as low. Okay, so I hold on to it, shoulders back, chest up, tap, tap. That way I don't have to go all the way down to the ground. If you want to go that low, then great, but I'm using the weight as an extension of my arms. Another way to do this without a weight is have a chair in front of you, shoulders back, chest up, and use a chair so you don't have to go quite as low. So are you bringing the floor up, or are you bringing your arms longer, I guess, with a weight? You choose, or maybe you're squatting all the way down, I don't know. Here we go. I prefer this to squatting that low. When my bottom goes below my knees, it doesn't seem like it's gonna feel good the next day in a bad way, so I avoid that. Tap the weight and up. Trying not to come up all the way unless I want a break, okay? That's what I call a sneaky break, an accidental break. If you lock your legs out, you're taking a break without even really trying to. So you wanna keep the knees bent and tap unless you really want a break. And in that case, you just set the weight down and come out of it entirely. Tap the weights, coming on up. Good work, good work. All right. Coming up here, I've got a couple of options for our next move. Set this aside. Okay, two options, totally different options. One is a superhero, Superwoman, Superman on the floor. I'll show that in a second. And the other one uses two weights. I'm going to use light weights. Feet are close together. We squat down, nice flat back, and we row. Okay, so elbows in at the ribs. That will be our third style of row today. So if you're done with that and you need a break with the rows, I don't blame you. You might try the superhero move on the ground with no weights. So here was one option. Feet close, knees close, but not touching, right? There's space in between there. Sink down, nice flat back. Pull the elbows in and up by the ribs. They're not coming out. No out. In at the ribs, right? Okay, that's one option. Another option here, and this is the one I'm gonna do, because it changes it up a little bit from what we've been doing and gets a different area of the back. On my stomach, on the floor. Straight legs, toes off the ground, knees off the ground. So I'm not kicking my heels up. I'm engaging my low back and my glutes. And I'm even gonna flutter kick here like I'm swimming. Shoulders off the ground, chest off the ground if you can, arms out to the sides or down. You can technically have them go forward. That's a lot for me, and it doesn't feel good. So I don't like to have my arms straight forward. It doesn't feel good on my shoulders. So I'm gonna protect those and have my arms to my sides. Here's our timer. Ready to go. So for me, I feel like I'm swimming with my forehead straight forward. I don't know how they would swim, but this looks like how a mermaid would swim to me. Okay. Although I've got two legs, so I'm pedaling my legs. You don't have to. You can just do an isometric hold if you prefer. These low back muscles are engaging. My hips are on the ground, my ribs are on the ground, but I'm trying to bring everything else up. Not particularly comfortable on my stomach or anything, so if you're uncomfortable, that's probably normal. If it's painful, that's not good. We want to avoid that. Fight through fatigue, but don't push through pain. All right, after this, I'm going to get up and go back to my wide squat touchdown. Oh, coming up out of that. Slow and steady. Rolling up, slow and steady. Okay, wide squat touchdown. You can use a chair, you can use a weight, you could use nothing at all. Here we go. Here's our timer. I'll use this weight here. Shoulders back, chest up, and tap, and up, slow and steady. And you don't have to come all the way up. You can do this very low tapping stuff, engaging the muscles the entire time. Tough, really tough. Okay, after this, remember, you got a couple of options. Well, the options are endless, but the two options I showed are superhero on the ground, on your stomach, with the legs up, the arms up, the shoulders up, hips and ribs on the ground, or squatted row. And I'll do that one this time for demonstration purposes. All right, I'll set this aside. There's our timer. Okay, I would recommend the one on the floor just to get some variety in the areas of the back that we're targeting. But if you'd like, you can do this one as well. Timer's going. Narrow feet. Toes are forward, shoulders back, chest up. Hinge at the hips, don't round the back, hinge at the hips. And then we're rowing. Breathing, exhale as we pull up. And you can always come out of it for a break. If you're getting lightheaded and dizzy, it might be time for a break. A longer break. All right. And I'm gonna have another circuit after this, and then we'll get to our stretches, our recovery, our feel-good stuff. So I'm getting about 3 or 4 reps in, and then I'm standing in between each set. Make sure we're breathing. Here comes our timer, by the way. Elbows in at the ribs, not out at the sides. In at the sides, not out at the sides. There's our timer. All right, I need a break. You know what you could do right now? Go hit the subscribe button. Shaking out the arms, shaking out the legs. All right, next up, for the legs. Okay, this is, I talked about it earlier. You can go back to other moves if this one doesn't feel accessible. This is a reverse lunge. So I'm holding onto the wall, tap the toe back, and you don't necessarily need to touch the knee to the ground. You don't necessarily want to smash your knee down, right? So go down slowly, tap the toe and not necessarily the knee. I like to hold on to a wall for this for sure, so that I prevent left to right knee instability, right? We don't want to waver left and right. If you need an alternative, do a vertical spine, lateral leg raise for the glutes. Slow is better. Or hinge forward and go back to our first leg move where you squeeze the glutes like that. I'm going to do the reverse lunges here. Here we go, everybody. Tap the toe, don't necessarily tap the knee. Nice vertical spine, holding onto a wall. And you might go super slow, which will get your nervous system to work a little bit harder. Right? If you're used to a certain rhythm with this move and you're just kind of springing out of it, right? Then you might want to slow it down to make it more challenging. More work means more fuel is burned, more effort, more calories. Breathing. All right, shake out the arms, shake out the legs. And our next move here, this is a combination. It's both legs and back. It's called a deadlift. And it can get complicated if you make it complicated, but I'll show you how I do this move. Let me show you with these lighter weights, but I think it's actually, it mechanically makes more sense with a little bit heavier weight for me. Otherwise, I wobble around a little bit. Anyway, here's what it looks like. Nice wide feet. I'll do it from the side so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to squat down and keep a straight spine. My shoulder blades stay back, sink down. My hands come right in front of my legs, in front of my knees, and then I stand, okay? They don't need to go to the ground, right? That might be too low. Even if you're capable of it, it might not be great on the low back. I would say about midway down the shin is about low enough, or even just a little bit below the knee. So sink down. My arms are straight the whole time. If you're holding a weight that you can pick up like this, it's probably too light for this particular move. You can still go through the motions to get something out of it, but to get the most out of this move, you want to be holding something that basically keeps your arms straight. You squat down and you come up. It seems like it's for the legs, but it's for the legs and the back both. So let me show you what I'm talking about here with weight. I'm gonna grab a heavier weight for myself. If you're not familiar with this move, definitely don't go heavy. But I've got a heavier weight here now. So that makes me very straight armed, right? Because it's heavier for me. Nice wide feet. When I squat down, and then I come back up. I'm hinging at the hips, okay? I'm not hunching at the spine, okay? Your arms can come beside your legs if you prefer. And anyway, I was gonna say here's another option, but basically it's a little bit of a squat and a stand. If you did it with one weight, that would be okay. It's very similar to the move we just did with our wide squat touchdown, except your feet aren't as wide. And it looks very similar. Wow, yeah. Very similar, but with your feet narrower and your shoulder blades pulling back, it does a slightly different muscle group, okay? Hinging at the hips a little bit, not rounding at the back. Here's our timer. And this can be, like I said, this can be a technique heavy move, so go slow with it. Consider, if it's feeling like too much, consider this a rest period. That would be fine. Hinging at the hips. I'm liking the one weight for myself better right now because my knees felt like they were getting in the way a little bit. Okay. Now if I did two weights, keep going there, but I'm going to demonstrate with two weights for a second. Arms are fairly straight, shoulders back, chest up, hinge at the hips, the weights come just in front of the knees, and then we come up. Called a deadlift. Often this is done with a barbell, not two dumbbells. That's the long weight with plates on either side. So the dumbbells do feel like they make it a little bit different. Okay, there's our timer. I'm gonna set these down. And we're just about done. What is this? Reverse lunges. Here we go. Reverse lunges, or an alternative if you prefer. Tap the toe, come on up. Tap the toe, come on up. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. If you prefer an alternative, you can squeeze the glutes back or out to the sides. Okay. Good work today, everybody. We're just about done. We've got some stretching coming up in a minute here. There we go. All right, we're gonna do this last move, and then I do have one bonus move that we've done in other classes that's kind of full body. It's a compound movement. Anyway, here we go. I'm gonna get a slightly lighter weight and see if that feels better for me. I feel I'll go all the way lighter. Why not? I'll go with my lightest weights today for our deadlift. Here's our timer. Okay, so I'm gonna have my arms straight, hinge at the hips, weights come just in front of the shins, and then up. Hinging at the hips, pushing the bottom back, and then standing up. Yeah, I think the weights that I did on my last round were a little bit heavy for me. This one's feeling a little bit more mechanically correct, okay? Something in between might be perfect for me. But you can always play with that, adjust it. Try not to go too far beyond what's an appropriate weight, because that's when you risk injury, right? Better to slightly decrease your results today than to injure yourself for 3 weeks or 3 months. All right, one last bonus move after this, and I'm just gonna do it once. Here it is. Okay, we've done this one a lot. This one is the kettlebell swing or elephant trunks. Okay, here's what it looks like. Shoulder blades back, spine stays vertical. So this is legs, shoulders, back. The weight swings a little bit in this move, and your back is fighting to stay straight. It shouldn't fight that hard, right? Don't pick up the heaviest weight you have, but it should have a force that pulls forward and up, down and back. And your spine is trying to stay, you want your spine to stay straight up and down. So here it is, nice wide feet. Swing the weights forward, no higher than the height of the shoulders, so don't come up here, right? Just here, and down. Okay, and it may not feel like a back workout, but this one, there's a lot of accessory muscles going on that keep your spine vertical, tight and strong. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do 1.5 minutes for this final move, and here's our timer. If you've got to come out of it early, that's okay. Sink down and swing. Final bonus move, and I'll get to our cool down stretch right after this. Slowing it down if you need to. It's a small squat. The spine stays vertical, so the sternum stays forward. I'm not going to point my chest down toward the ground. That's not great on my low back. Stay upright. It's a small squat. Try a couple slow motion ones. Ooh, and I'm sweating now. Make sure we're breathing. Getting to the end here, almost done. Great work today, everybody. Legs and back. Building those engine pieces, right? Building that engine to burn more calories in the future. Those muscle groups will use more energy now. When they're stronger, they'll be bigger. I say bigger. They're not going to be noticeably bigger. Mostly they get tighter. Not really bigger unless you're really specific about that. Great work, everybody. Awesome job today. Roll the wrists, bend and extend the elbows. Make sure you don't have any tripping hazards. Let's roll the shoulders a few times. And switch directions. Turn the head, cool off. All right. For the lats, okay, these are the V-ups. This is part of our back muscle group that we want to stretch now to recover so that 1, 2, or 3 days from now, we're able to exercise again and to aid in that recovery faster. Clasp the hands together, down in the center. Come up and out, down to the center. Up and out, down to the center. These are the V-ups. Breathing. And another version of this is keeping your hands up and just going over left and right. I don't like it as well. It's harder for me to breathe. I like the V-ups, but do which one works for you. Okay? Next up, clasping the hands together and pushing left and right. So push to the right to get stretch in the left rhomboids and middle traps back here. This is the shoulder blade movement that pulls forward and across as the hands push over to the side. Center, side, center. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Recovery is important. If you're ever in an exercise class and you don't do any kind of stretching at the end, you should probably check out one of the after exercise stretching videos, that kind of stuff, because you got to recover those muscles or else they get more tight than they should. All right, another version of that, if you want to do in the future, you can stir the pot forward and out like a figure eight if you prefer. All right, next up, I'm going to get to the neck and then back down toward the legs. So here we are, looking down toward the ground. And then I'm just going to rock my forehead left and right here a little bit. Coming up the center. There we go. Shrug the shoulders. You're welcome to do the one where the ear goes toward the shoulder. I'm going to skip that one today, but it looks like this. Eyes are forward, ear toward the shoulder. Move the shoulders up and down to get the side of the traps up there. If you want to do that one today, I'm going to move down to the legs. Okay, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, and it's just a small step, right? It doesn't need to be as far as possible. That'll prevent us from being able to move the hips, move the pelvis. Okay, so 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, a small step. Tuck the tail, squeeze the glutes, and push the hips front to back. Okay, just a little bit of rocking here. Shoulders back, chest up. If you like, you can reach up high and you might get a little bit more tension kind of in the lower quadrant of the abdominals here in the hip. I feel tension there, but not everybody does. Okay, step forward and switch sides. So tuck the tail, squeeze the glutes, and rock front to back. Again, you can reach forward and up, and you might get more tension kind of in that lower corner where the hip bone, where the pelvic bone is. I feel tension there, but not everybody will. It's not exactly a muscle stretch. I would call it more like a fascia, second skin stretch, right? Connective tissue stretch. All right, step forward, shake out the legs and hamstrings. Let's get the hamstrings here. Heels down, toes up, light hamstring swings. It should not be a super high cheerleader toe touch. We're not in a ninja challenge, just a light swing to aid in recovery, right? It's to get the blood in and out, right? Get the bad stuff, the stale stuff out, new fresh nutrients in. Awesome job today. I'm only going to do maybe one more, the adductors in between the legs. Okay, keep going there if you need more attention on the hamstrings. Here are the adductors. I like to face the chair, have nice wide feet, hands on the chair. Then I lunge left and right. Okay, I'm going to show you another angle of this because it's easier to see from behind. Nice wide feet, lunging left and right. It's to get the inner line of the leg some tension as we rock left and right. Now, you don't want your feet too close together because then your hips go beyond your base of support and you're really not getting a lot for the adductors. You want them wide enough to where you get some tension on that inner leg. This is a good one for multitasking. You are welcome to pull back a little bit to get the hamstrings in again for another round of hamstrings at the same time. So adductors and hamstrings as you rock back. All right, tons of more stretches you could do. Glutes, calves, more neck stretches, right? SMR, self-myofascial release for the back muscles where you press for 35 plus seconds. Tons of stretches you could do. But I'm gonna let you guys go. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with somebody you do or don't like. Doesn't matter to me, and I will see you next time. But do one of those 5 things. Like, comment, subscribe, share with someone you do like, someone you don't like. Yeah, 5. See you next time. Do one of the 5. Bye-bye.